The Roundup is back and better than ever. We are on our NFL Playoffs edition here with Max Shulman. Max, how are you?
I'm pretty good. How about yourself?
Pretty big game for y'all. Pope John Paul. Just before we get started, tell everybody about the game tonight.
I think they're probably the third best team in our region. You know, very talented team. Didn't lose much from last year, so it's going to be good. 7:30 tonight at home. First home game in a while. So
if you have a chance, go support Macaulay basketball team. So this is our NFL Playoffs edition tonight, and we're going to first talk about the two things that drive me crazy in sports. Now, the first one is college football recruiting. Now, you'll hear a lot of people say that the recruiting doesn't matter, that it's just all about the coaches. It's about Nick Saban, it's about Urban Meyer, it's about Dabo Swinney. It's just, if they're the best coaches, they're going to win. And it's about developing players. But I'll take a quote from Alabama's strength coach, and if you know him, he's a pretty crazy guy. But he said, when these guys come in, they're Cadillacs, and all I'm trying to do is just put spinners on them. And I think that's a pretty good metaphor. But I wanted to give y'all a look at how much recruiting really does matter. So I went back in the last 10 years of the college football champions, and I saw how they did 2 years before in recruiting. So like when this class was going to be juniors of their championship year. So we start with Florida in 2006. They finished 5th. LSU in 2007 finished 8th. 2009, Bama finished 3rd. 2010, Auburn finished 6th. 2011, Alabama finished 2nd. 2013, Florida State finished 2nd. 2014, Ohio State finished 5th. 2015, Alabama finished 1st. And then this year, Clemson finished 9th. So if you got those numbers, you could have heard that in the last 10 years, no team has won the national championship that did not have a recruiting class in the top 10. So if you don't have a recruiting class in the top 10, might as well not have national championship expectations because you're just not going to win it. And what do you have to say about that? You got any thoughts on that, Max?
You know, I actually agree with you there. I mean, yeah, how Nick Saban and how Dabo Swinney, you got Jimbo Fisher, those guys they're very important guys. So I mean, when you got guys that are that talented, it's hard in football to really develop those guys even farther because they come in really hyped up. So when you get guys that talented, it's hard not to win with them.
Yeah, and I mean, you're still going to have outliers like that. Hunter Renfrow, he was a 2-star. You know, he ended up having the game-winning touchdown. If you're a 5-star, it's not guaranteed you're going to be a great player, but your chances are a lot higher. But then the second thing, and this one drives me crazy even more, is when people say that the Vegas spreads on games just don't mean anything. That is just preposterous in my mind. I think that when you look at the spread, and let's say for some reason you don't have internet the day of the game, and you're at some wedding in Soul Creek or something, you can't go to the game or can't watch the game. You look at the spread, and it's basically going to give you the trailer for the movie. It's going to tell you who's probably going to win and what they're going to win by. So the University of Chicago did an experiment on sports betting, and in this experiment they found that 65% of people bet on the favorites. So if a team was -4, they would pick the team to win by more than 4. So they found that 49% of the favorites only won. So 49% of the time, favorites won. So this says that Vegas wins 16% more of the time than the public, which I think that says a lot about how hard it is to gamble and how hard it is to go to Vegas and win, and probably why there's so many casinos and bookies in Vegas right now.
That's how they make money. So I mean, you know, that they go inside the information, they read between the lines on all past matchups, on advanced statistics. So you know that what they say is going to be right most of the time. So that's their job.
And by no means are we promoting gambling, or I mean, let's put out a disclaimer. We're not really, we're not saying go bet or anything, but we're just saying look at the lines before they play. It'll tell you a lot.
Hey, Bruni, I have a question about the previous subject.
Yes.
Many people say stars are overrated. They don't really matter. What's your viewpoint on that?
It goes back to the rankings. I mean, you give me a 5-star, you take a 3-star, and I'm probably going to win I'd say about 90-95% of the time.
Right.
And I think that's what, comes down to that. It's all cool to say, man, he's a 2-star, he grinded, and now he's in the NFL doing great. Well, that's great, but
Right.
the 5-star's probably in the NFL too.
Right.
And probably doing just as good, probably better.
Good point. Good point. I'd have to agree.
All right, but the last topic we got to get to before we get to our predictions is the Chargers going to Los Angeles. Now, most people heard about this through the memes of all the different LA logo types, and that's just what I wanted to talk about. We find out a lot about a person, not when things are going great, but like when crisis is involved, the true character is revealed. And I think that is shown through the Chargers administration from their move from San Diego to Los Angeles. And I just want to say, San Diego used to be my favorite city. They had Lane Thomason, who's my favorite running back. I just love the Chargers. But even though I realized that LA, they moved to LA because San Diego politicians were really, they were in a gridlock. If y'all don't know that, they were in a gridlock with the local, I don't know what the right word is, but
City council, I guess?
yeah, city council, where the money was, and they were gridlocked with the owners. But, when you leave a city that has supported you for 50 years and been loyal to you for 50 years, and then 10 minutes later have a logo for Los Angeles, I think that's a slap in the face. I think it's disrespectful, and it shows a lack of dignity. And, it reminded me of, we have an audience here. I'm going to poll y'all real quick. Who has seen Friends? Has anybody seen Friends?
What's that?
I've seen Friends.
So about a lot of people have seen Friends, and it reminds me of when Ross and Rachel break up, and then two hours later, he is hooking up with some bimbo.
It's just, baby Ross.
Hey, it's just.
Come on, bimbo.
It's just.
You gotta bounce back.
It's a slap in the face,
Seems like we haven't.
and it's disrespectful above other things. Now, I do want to say that, when you look at LA's fan favorite list, I'm looking at it, and I'm seeing
Oh, it's too hot.
the Chargers are going to be way down on the list.
I agree with you.
Here's how I see it going. Los Angeles right now is a Laker town, number one. Then I think it goes Dodgers. Then USC's good again. I think they're 3. Then I think it goes Clippers because they're an entertaining team right now. And then I would say it probably goes Rams. They got a good young quarterback who probably shows a little promise. Then I'd probably go UCLA. Then I'd go the Angels, Los Angeles Angels. And finally I'd go the Chargers. So you leave a city where you were the number 1 team, you're the king of the city, to be the 8th fiddle in Los Angeles.
Right, and I think they'll be playing in a 30,000-seat stadium.
Next 2 years, yeah.
So that's going to be hard to
And to be honest, I don't know if they'll
get a
fill it
good
up.
fan base too.
I don't know if they'll fill that stadium up while they're there. But
It's really competition now just between the Chargers and the Rams about who's going to take LA's hearts. So if the Chargers can do that first, then it may have some.
and if you know Los Angeles fans, they're football wise they're they're fair weather fans. So I think that's interesting to watch. But let's look at the games this weekend. Max, how do you see the Atlanta-Seattle game going?
This is one of those games you'd think that the Seahawks would break the Falcons' heart late, but I think you got 2 different teams. Seahawks, they got really poor line this year. The run game really is not up to expectations, and without Earl Thomas, it's sort of there's no Falcons will be able to throw deep, especially with a fresh Julio Jones and with I would think probably the MVP and Matt Ryan. So I got a 31-23 Falcons win this one.
Yeah, and I'm kind of with you there. I say you give me the best quarterback, the best receiver in the game, and then the best pass rusher in Vic Beasley. I think that's pretty easy. The spread's 4. I like Atlanta 27-21 to cover the points. All right, what about the New England-Houston game at 8:15?
I think this one is going to be a lot closer than everyone thinks it is. So the line is got -16. I think Texans' defense is very underrated. Jadeveon Clowney is really performing expectations now, and I feel like that's one of those that the Patriots are going to be a little shocked in the first quarter when they're still competing. I still think the Patriots are going to win pretty handily. But I'm still going with Houston. I'm going Houston minus 16. So I'm thinking like a 28-17 Patriots.
And I'm kind of with you there, but I think when you have the best quarterback coach combo ever, which is Tom Brady and Bill Belichick, and if you know anything about them, when they play an underrated team or a team that doesn't have as much talent with them, they go for the throw early. And I'm looking at New England getting up really early. I think we're going to see Jimmy Garoppolo play about halfway in the fourth quarter. But I think Houston scores late. I don't think New England covers. I like New England 31-17.
Butch Jones and Josh Dobbs.
Butch Jones, Josh Dobbs, probably the best quarterback coach combo in the SEC this year. But we'll discuss that at a later time. Let's look at Kansas City Pittsburgh game.
You know, I'm different with you on this game. I like Kansas City here. Arrowhead effect. Since week 3 last season, Kansas City is 12-2 at Arrowhead, including a win over Pittsburgh. Even though it was Landry Jones, I'm a big fan of the defense. Alex Smith is just he's a glorified game manager. I like Tyreek Hill's ability to make big plays, so I'm with Kansas City here.
And what's your score on that, do you think?
I'm thinking like a 23-16 type of game. 23-16.
And I'm kind of with you on the score, but the spread's 1.5 for Kansas City. I just think when you had the best quarterback in the game, which is no one's going to dispute Big Ben's better than Alex Smith, you definitely had the best running back in the league in Le'Veon Bell, and you have you could argue Antonio Brown's the best receiver. I'd probably take Julio Jones and Odell Beckham, but he's still a top 3. He's still a top 3 receiver. So Pittsburgh killed him early in the season. I think it being in Kansas City, I think it's closer. I like Pittsburgh 24, Kansas City 16.
So Big Ben coming out of last game in a boot doesn't concern you at all?
Well, I mean, if you've watched Big Ben in the past, you know he's a tough guy, but Big Ben kind of likes to milk his injuries. So I don't think that's anything new for Big Ben. I think he'll be fine, and I think they'll take care of business.
Okay.
But finally, we've got the Packers-Cowboys game.
I'm going with Aaron Rodgers here. I mean, he's been on fire like last 7 games. Even though Jordy Nelson has just been confirmed that he's out with 2 broken ribs, I'm still going with the Packers here. You know, got more experience in Rodgers against Prescott, and I feel like in the regular season matchup earlier this year, that Rodgers was just not on his game. Even though Dallas won at Lambeau, I feel like Aaron Rodgers it's time for him to take over.
And the spread's -4 Dallas at home. And honestly, to me, it just comes down to Jordy Nelson being out. I think that makes it a 4-quarter game instead of a 3-quarter game. You know, if I could give anybody any advice, if they're gonna play or if they're gonna maybe bet a game, I would say never go against the best player in the league, especially if he's a quarterback. And Aaron Rodgers, you know, you could take the best defense, give me just Aaron Rodgers and a bunch of scrubs, and I'll probably get you to the NFC Championship. But he does have good receivers in Devontae Adams and Randall Cobb. So I think it's Packers 34, Cowboys 28. I mean, Aaron Rodgers is playing at a level. You know, Joe Buck was on the Bill Simmons report, and he basically said he's never seen a quarterback play at the level Aaron Rodgers is playing at right now. So I definitely like the Packers to go in there to Jerry World and upset the Cowboys. Even though that'd be a great season for Dallas, I mean, I just think they're not at a point right now, experience-wise, where they could beat a team like the Packers with Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah. If you're Dallas, I mean, you're going the season with a 4th-round pick in Prescott and Ezekiel Elliott. You're not expecting to be a 1 seed and play at home against the Packers in the postseason. So, I mean, in the big picture, you're probably excited about the season, but I think Packers 38-27 over the Cowboys.
And just to briefly touch on the Cowboys, I don't think we give Jerry Jones enough credit. I think a lot of people look at him as being just some crazy idiot, and I think he's you know, he formed that O-line together. He drafted the running back, and everybody hated on that. I just think he's done a great job general managing, and you know that nobody looks at that now, but I think that's something to look at. I think You know, Mac will love this. I think Jason Garrett's done a great job coaching this team too, and I think that's put them in a position where they are with their first round bye.
Okay, gets to the second quarter. Packers are leading by 14. Does Romo come in the game?
You know, I think if it was up to Jerry, he would, but I don't think there's any situation we see Romo in the playoffs unless Dak's hurt. Just because I think that would hurt the team chemistry, and I just don't think you can. I don't think they can do that. I think you'd split the locker room, and you don't want to do that. But at this time, we will take all appropriate questions from the audience, if anybody has any.
Who's your favorite SEC East next year?
My favorite in the SEC East. This is actually going to surprise some people, but I think if Easton progresses and Kirby can call a good, Kirby can get his offense a little, fast track. That the athletes they're bringing in, they got the number 3 recruiting class this year. They had a top 5 last year. I just think it'll be hard to beat Georgia. I think Florida is going to be terrible next year. Tennessee, I think they could be a little better. I would say 9-3 season right now, but I would take Georgia if I had to right now.
Who's going to get the Cal job?
The Cal job is something that I did not think would be brought up in today's podcast, but I will say that right now it looks like the favorite is Wisconsin's defense coordinator, Justin Wilcox, who actually was the defense coordinator at Tennessee, who I think is a pretty good coach, but we'll see how he does on the
Who's going to win the Super Bowl?
Who's going to win the Super Bowl? Well, early in the year, or before the season, I took the Packers beating the Steelers. So I have to stay with the Packers. I just think you got the best player in the world. I got to go Packers.
Yeah, tough to beat. I got Packers too.
How tall is Butch Jones?
Butch is probably, I'd say he's about 3 or 4 inches taller than Saban, so I'd say he's about 5'11". But we'll wrap up today's show. We'll have a video early next week, and then we'll be on later in the week too. So glad everyone was able to tune in, and we'll see you next week.